Hello, YouTube. All right, I'm trying to figure out how to mount this in a way that we can do this. Maybe. And we get some light here. Yeah, we can get some light this way. That way, you can see what the heck is going on, even though I can't see how many people are here. All right, at least you can at least see what I'm looking at, because it is now dark. I can't believe I stood in line for like 2.5 hours at Walmart, just trying to get the soda, the toilet seat, and the new commode. And I'm actually at Home Depot right now, and apparently they shut down at 6 p.m. now. Walmart shuts down at 8 p.m. So things are shutting down extremely early. And it was such a chaos in Walmart, although they had plenty of toilet paper. The toilet paper aisle actually had, I think, about, let me think. It was probably about 10 packs of new coffee. 10 packs, 10 or 20, 10 to 15 packs of 4-pack toilet paper of different brands. So Walmart did have the toilet paper out, and people weren't going crazy over them. I saw a few people grab them, but they weren't grabbing a whole bunch. They were grabbing like 1 or 2 packs, and people could just go up and grab them. So it was kind of interesting. And then, as for myself, I was trying to figure out an emergency bathroom system, because with the gas stations, all the gas stations aren't staying open 24 hours. Nobody's staying open 24 hours anymore, at least that I can find. So that means van dwellers, you're going to have to be self-sufficient during the night. You can't just go into a bathroom. You can't just go into, unless there are still 24-hour gas stations, but I don't know. This is the Home Depot, and I was coming here to try to get some wood because I underestimated the height. I just took a guess. But the plan was, and is still kind of, basically I removed my console temporarily, although I could just convert the console, because the console is a perfect height, and not use it for food anymore, but use it for an emergency bathroom, which might happen. But this will go here like this, see? I'm going to raise that bottom up with some wood, and then make a little enclosure here for the seat. And basically, you have a little tiny bathroom in the front if you want to. And some of you might be saying, why I don't just buy the camp toilets and stuff like that. I could. That would be the easy way. They sell the toilet seats that go on top of the paint bucket, the 5-gallon paint bucket. And that's what a lot of people use. You just get the plastic toilet seat, and then you put it on top of the paint bucket, and people use that. So that's the normal, easy way. But the Denoy way is always, a little bit off. And part of it is because I'm on YouTube, but part of it is because I prefer a more comfortable seat. So this is the throne. And you could get the totally wooden one, or in my case, I went cheap, the cheapest one they had, which was a $9 one. It's the padded one. And part of the reason I like the padded one, even though it's not that strong, this isn't a permanent thing, this is a temporary thing. But the padded one is light. It's lightweight. I can put it up. See, easy to move and put it up. So the idea is I might even just get a piece of wood here as a platform that goes across the 2 seats. So the other option is I could use remember my little table, my little desk that goes here? Since I do use it as a desk every once in a while, but I'm debating if I want to cut it up and make a hole. But basically, if I put it across this as a little sitting area, it can just kind of hover a little bit. And I can bring this up a little bit by putting something underneath there, just to bring it up close to the edge so you don't have a gap. And then what you do is you put a whole bunch of bags, like Walmart bags, to line it. Use more than one. I would use at least 2 at the minimum, but I would put 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. Line it all up so that if you have to use do your business, after you finish, you tie it up. Tie it up really tight. Maybe even tie it into two bags, and you get rid of it when you can. But you tie it to control the smell. And if you want to further control the smell, what you could do, some people use like cedar chippings and stuff like that. But if you can't find that, and my preference would be to just use kitty litter. So, if it's good enough for the cats, it's good enough for me, right? So just get like some kitty litter and put it into a little bottle that you can pour out. And you put your bag in here. This is what I did at the, remember the woods, when I was living out in the woods at the hut? And I had, I built hut Hut 1.0, and it had a bathroom, the latrine and everything. You know, it had a real bathroom that had been left over from the, was it the Iron Man or whatever the thing was, that crazy mud run that they have. But that bathroom, because we couldn't change it out all the time, I used I put a bucket under there and I lined it with bags, and then I put in kitty litter, so that if someone went in the bathroom, the kitty litter would actually absorb the moisture and kind of cover it up, and it wouldn't smell so bad. And then when you finish, you just pour a little bit more kitty litter on top of it to soak up the moisture and seal in the smell. Then, now in this case, because it's in the van, not that I really want to use this. This is like a last resort. It's an emergency. After you use it, you put the, you have kitty litter in there if you want. That's if you want to go that route because you want to control the smell. That's if it, if it bothers you that much. You put kitty litter on it, cover the smell, tie it up, then you're good to go. Get rid of it in the trash can or something. But just like you would kitty litter, okay? People freak out and say, "Oh, you're throwing human waste in there." Well, you're throwing cat waste, dog waste, you're throwing baby waste, diapers and stuff. That's human waste. But anyhow, that's how you would get rid of it if you're curious. I don't plan on using this thing, but I'm having it just in case, because I'm like, well, crap, they locked all the bathrooms. So I don't know if you know, they're closed.
They are?
They close at 6 now.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, everything's closing early. Walmart closes at 8.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, some people just like me were trying to go up to do some last minute shopping. But I just wanted to show you what's happening, and wanted to point out several other things that I think is kind of messed up about organization and stuff. I said when shift hits the fan, or the van rather, basically you get to see a lot of disorganization. But sometimes I don't know if it's disorganization or controlled disorganization. If you watched my earlier broadcast about control and some of the stuff, I'm watching it and I'm like, I think they're doing this on purpose, and in the stages they're doing and the way they're doing it. Because when I went into Walmart, there was no reason for me to be there 2.5 hours in line, okay? It wasn't like the place was packed. What they did was the cashiers kept leaving the registers to go off and talk to somebody because they didn't know what they were doing or whatever. And then the other problem that they had was this, I thought was kind of interesting, because this is one that is controllable by the management. You know how they've trained everyone to do self-checkout at Walmart? I'm going to try to switch camera here, so you guys can kind of see me a little bit. And I'll put the light here so you can see my handsome mug. All right, basically what they did was they had trained people to use the self-checkout so people could check out. And before all this craziness, they would have like 1 or 2 cashiers there, and then everybody had to self-checkout. And it went fairly fast, if you were there at night and stuff, or even during the day, you go through the self-checkout, it wasn't too bad. So during a crisis situation, this particular store I went to actually had about 6 or 7 cashiers, which is still crazy that they don't have all the cashiers there. But they have like 6 or 7 cashiers, and they only have one of the self-checkouts open. When I say one, I mean one section. The whole other side of the store with the other self-checkout, they have closed down. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you make everyone wait in line for 2 hours to check out when they could self-check out? Because you've already had people self-checking out. They know how to check out on those machines. All you would have to do is open up the whole other section, and that's like 10 or 15 registers right there that people could use to check out, so they don't have to, you're supposedly trying to keep the spread, the contamination from happening, and you're having people stand in that closed line, closed space for hours on end. Like while I was there was this guy, I don't know if he had a mental issue or whatever. He kept coming up to me and everybody in line and coughing all over everyone. I kid you not. He was going on coughing all over everybody. And it wasn't like he was pretending to cough. He was really coughing. And I'm like, this is great. That's one of the symptoms. But he's going around, and when he was coughing and stuff, some of the people decided just screw it and left the line. Okay? But I stood my ground, but I'm like, you know what? If he's already infected everybody, he's infected everybody. But this is ridiculous, because this guy, I don't know if he had a mental issue or whatever, but he was, you're supposed to have this space between people to try to keep coughs and stuff away. He was literally right on top of me and on top of other people. He would just walk right up to your back, like basically bump into you and breathe on you. That's how close he was. And I'm like, This is absolutely asinine. And then I ended up, when I was leaving the Walmart, I told the one of the cashiers, the guys in the yellow jackets, the customer service rep or whatever they are. I said, you should suggest to your management that they should open up that whole other section so that people can self-check out and you don't have this big ass line that you got right here. And he was like, well, that would bring in more people. So they're trying to keep less people from coming into Walmart by making it as unpleasant as possible. Meanwhile, I didn't see people. The people, for the most part, were pretty calm, and people weren't going crazy. But they were trying to buy stuff like food mostly now. I saw a lot of people buying food. A couple of people grabbed the toilet paper. I think I'm the only one who grabbed the toilet seat. So I'm one of the few people who actually grabbed something other than food. Although I did grab some more soda just to calm myself down. But it does really make me question the whole scenario and the situation, because honestly, if you look around, everything, as far as nature-wise, if you're out in nature and walking around and looking at the way things are going, it is pretty much normal. The only thing that you see that makes it abnormal is like the early store closings, supplies not being there. But these are all stuff that somebody can control. And even like the lines at Walmart, I'm like, Walmart, when I was working there, was very efficient in some of the ways they did stuff. I'm like, this is purposeful. The way you structure the line so that there's a huge ass line when there doesn't need to be, you slowing people down on purpose. You closing all the self-checkout so people can't check out anymore. And the people already know how to self-checkout, but they're not allowed to. And you're having people stand in close proximity in a line when you've got them all paranoid already. So, it really makes me question everything. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? They tell you to stay home, but you got to get food. And when you go to get food, this is the conditions you're dealing with. And then they say, don't hoard the food. Well, if people have to go and stand in line for 2.5 hours to get one peanut butter jar or something, you can be damn sure they're going to buy up a whole case or whatever. They're not going to buy only a little bit if they know that they don't want to go in that line. They don't want to go stand out there for 2.5 hours to get something that should have taken 1 minute. See, what happened was I actually went to return an item. Remember I was telling you I wanted to buy some Imodium? Well, I had bought a whole nother box of Imodium at the full price. It was like $11.60 or something like that. But then I found in my van, my medicine thingy stash, I had boxes of that. I had like a box and a half of it left. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to need that much. If I need more than that, then the world's definitely gone to shit. It's over. This should be a temporary situation. And if it's not temporary, I'm not going to make it. This world's not going to make it. I don't see, I see myself knowing what to do and stuff, but I'm like, if I'm at the point of saying, I don't think this is going to, we can't last longer than that. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are people who have less survival skills than I do. They're not even going to make it. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, if worst came to worst, I'd just go bug out in the woods, and I'd have to hunt. I'd have to do all these things that I didn't want to do, but I would have to. I definitely wouldn't depend on Walmart. I wouldn't depend on Home Depot and all these places that are still here, because as far as I'm concerned, this is all still here. Society is still intact, even though it's had to adjust itself. And people are learning to live this new life, but it really is man-made. I'm just looking at the structure. They had staged a lot of this stuff with the Walmart and the buildings, and how they're fencing people in and making the gates and all that. Notice all the Walmarts have the cattle gates and things like that. This is all prior to the buildup of now, and they are now shutting down stores earlier and earlier and earlier, trying to get people to go in. What I question and wonder about homeless, the people who don't even have a house that are on the street, what are they doing? I haven't been driving around looking because generally, like right now, I got to go find my parking spot for the night. But generally, at night, I'm basically just trying to settle in and then get ready to go to work the next day. But I'm not out looking like I was in the past because I actually do have to work in the morning. I have to get up really early. So I'm not able to go hang out where the homeless people hang out, just to see them and see what they're doing and also possibly feed them. Sometimes I feed the homeless when I can. But basically, I think those people are screwed right now. Unless they can get into shelter, but even then, this is just people who aren't in shelters are suffering. Shelters were always suffering before. I can only imagine what's going on at the shelters right now, if they're even still open. And then those are confined spaces where if stuff's going to spread, it would spread like wildfire. So I don't know. Let me look here and see what everyone is saying. I think that's what they're trying to do. Mo Bang says, I'm saying that they are trying to kill off poor people too. I think they are. They're making the resources not available. And, what just happened here? My other light just went off. Yeah, the car light. Let me open the door and it did want to come back on. What the heck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the car light didn't want to come on. All right, if I turn it on manually, it comes on. All right, so my lights are manually on now. But anyhow, it seems to me that stuff's being structured to get rid of certain groups of people. All the extremely poor are having a hard time right now. The homeless are definitely screwed. Even the van dwellers, if you're having to work, it's getting harder and harder to blend in because everything's shut down. When it was 24 hours, when American society was 24 hours, it was a little bit easier to blend in because you could park somewhere because there was business going on. But now they can tell because you're sitting out there and the parking lot's empty. It's not like before where certain places had people working all day, all night, and people were driving and stuff. So now, like when I drive here, because I'm looking around and there's not very few cars driving around right now. It's only what? It's probably 8 o'clock, 8:30. I don't even know what time it is. But when I go driving out there, I suspect I'm going to be one of the few cars that are out on the road at this time. So, Jesus says, God promises that he won't do that to his children. Today they're claiming in China that they've gotten this COVID under control. So we've got about 6 weeks left statistically. Lizzie, you're comparing different cultures. The people in China are used to listening to the government. So when the government says something there, they listen. Here, the people argue and still, I just saw, just to show you an example, yesterday, somebody was throwing a party. You believe that? At one of the parks, they brought out extra tables and tablecloths. They were going to throw a big party at one of those big You remember where I was filming? Yeah, I was filming, and then the dude showed up with a bunch of tables and stuff. I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, somebody's reserved this place, and they're going to have a party here." And I'm thinking to myself, so all this stuff going on, and they're saying don't have big groups, and they're going to have a big party here under the pavilion, and all the people are gathering there. And you can see, like even with my situation and stuff, some people said, well, you should have stayed under quarantine, Denoy. In America, it's not mandatory quarantine, okay? You're telling people to self-quarantine, but you're not providing them any medication, anything to help them. You're like, this is what the real response was. And I kid you not, this was the response from the nurse. You should self-quarantine, okay? And just monitor your health. If it starts getting really bad and you feel like you're dying, go to the ER. That was the response for self-quarantine. I'm like, what the hell? You guys know they're closed, right? They're closed. They close at 6. I'll save people the trip walking up to the store there. All these people like me saying, oh, we'll go when there's no crowd. The reason there's no crowd is everything's closed. Anyhow, I'm gonna sign out and try to find my parking spot to sleep, because the later I stay out, the easier it'll be for the cops or whatever to spot me. Because most people who have a house at this point, they're in their house. They're not out. The only people who would be out are people who, like those people that I just yelled at, who still think the stores are open. But basically, this was very sudden. It's being Dollar Tree closes early too. I went by Dollar Tree. I think it was today, and they had a big sign saying they would close at, I don't know if it was 6 or 8. I think it was 6 p.m. So be warned, if you're out there in a van, if you're thinking that you can go to all these things, everything is changing by the day, and they're cutting the hours back more and more. So try to stockpile whatever supplies you can to last for a couple weeks, a week or two at least. And then when you get a chance to pick up stuff, pick it up as you can. Try to pick it up. It's going to be better to go in the morning when stuff opens up versus waiting, because the other day stuff was closing, like Walmart was closing at 11:30, 11 o'clock. Now it's closing at 8. So I can conceive it closing at 6 and then maybe closing at 4 or whatever if they decide to push it. They're trying to control the movement of people. When you look around, most places are like deserted and pretty much empty. And it could be to control movement so that the disease doesn't spread any more than it's been spreading, if indeed it truly is spreading, because they're not testing anybody. You're like, well, it is spreading, it is spreading. How the heck can you tell that it's spreading when you refuse to test people? Do you understand what I'm saying? They're saying it's spreading, and the ones they're testing, are supposedly testing, are basically the people who are dying that went into the ER. So, it really, to me, it's a puzzle. It's either the nation is totally ill prepared, which to me I find extremely hard to believe that a country like America could be that messed up. The only reason I can think of it being as weird as it is it's a plan. The whole thing. But like I said, I'm normally not one of those conspiracy theory people, but looking at the way things are falling into place, I'm just like, what the hell? This looks like it's staged. This looks like it's set to go like this. There's no reason for the lines to occur, but you're making it so there's a line. There's no reason for some of the stuff to occur the way it is, but it is occurring that way. And the control is being instituted in tiny increments. So people aren't fighting. You get people in a panic. They go up to government to listen to whatever government has to say. Now you've got control over the people, and then the people are actually responding now. So as they cut the hours and stuff, people are falling in line. And like I said, it could be because they're taking it seriously and trying to totally hinder movement, so that if indeed there is a real spread, that it stops, because that's how you stop it. You stop people moving. If people keep moving around, that's what keeps spreading it. That's like some people next to me blaring their music, which I'm like, why the heck are they out here blaring their music? Because unless they're here getting ready to go to work or whatever, I don't know. Anyhow, I am going to sign out. Just wanted to show you my little pooper. Let me show you one more time here. It's not done, but if I needed to in emergency, I would use it tonight. So it's got the little pooper, which is a nice, comfortable, real toilet seat. You'll see the finished unit here soon, hopefully. And it's got the little catcher. And of course, we have the liner, which is just Walmart bags. And I have plenty of toilet paper in here. So, I think we're all set. I have a little hand sanitizer that my son gave me. I have water. I have soda. I think I have a banana in here. So I think I'm all set. I'm gonna take a minute here to read your comments, so I can at least address people on a live stream that I never address people, so I better do that. So Gail was saying they break really easily, especially from the lid. Yeah, these cheap plastic ones, they do. But I didn't want to spend $20 on one. I'm hoping this is a very temporary situation. The way I'm gonna have to do it, I have to get a solid panel sheet here for this to sit on and cut a hole. So I'm gonna need a jigsaw, and I'm gonna need to cut the hole. And I'm trying to make it fit the seat space, so that, everything is like custom designed to be a certain height and a certain space size, and easy to disassemble and hide. I don't want a toilet seat sitting at the front of my seat all the time. So I want to make sure that I can put it up and, collapse it and hide it or whatever. I don't want a toilet seat in here. This is meant for, I'll set it up at night, when I need to go to sleep, and have it ready to go, so that if I wake up and I've got like a really bad tummy ache and I need to go, it's ready to go. It's ready to use. You don't want to put it up in the middle of the night. You wake up and then you're trying to assemble the thing and then you have an accident. Okay, you're missing the whole point. The whole point of it being an emergency unit is so that it's available, because you know how it is. When you wake up, you're like, oh, there's something wrong. And you got to go. You probably have 30 seconds to get to your designation. So it's going to be easily accessible right up front from the back. Just hop right out. So much for privacy, I guess people can watch a show, but hopefully no one's up at 2 or 3 a.m. watching me. But basically, that's what it is. And, like I said, I still need to pick up kitty litter, toilet paper. Kitty litter, tie it up, seal it, dump it the next morning. That's the best I can do. So I hope you guys are figuring out your own situations. Everybody's situation is going to be different. Everyone's van build is different, but just some ideas. Worst case scenario, do you see that console? My console flips open. I might even just use that console instead of these buckets. Instead of these buckets that I bought, I couldn't just using that console and not using it for food anymore. Because once, I use it for a bathroom, I definitely want to put food in there. That would be gross. But it would be used for emergency. But I don't really think I want to use a console for that, even though that console just broke the other day. So it's kind of junky right now. So I may use it and keep it here because then it looks like a console. I might do that. And then have another console for storing food. So that's a plan, potentially. The reason is the height of it. I think it's a lot better. I think it comes right up. I need something that's a certain height. So anyhow, I'm going to sign out. Let me look again. Scrolling through here. So I'm saying the Walmart bags leak. The Dollar Tree has their cheap bags that are $40 per roll. That might be a better option. I usually use multiple Walmart bags, and I use kitty litter in it, which is probably why I haven't really had it leaking. If you try to use one Walmart bag, I think they leak. They have holes in them. But if you use kitty litter, it kind of clumps up. Maybe that's why I haven't really had issues with it leaking. But then the other issue is I really haven't had to use the bathroom in the van, number 2. The only time I ever did number 2 in the van was when I first put together, remember that custom toilet where I built the platform toilet in the little drawer, the unit? Remember that? The really nice looking one? I used it once in the in the van to test it, to make sure the idea would work. And it worked great. But see, the problem is it had to mount into that seat area in the back, which isn't there anymore. I changed out the layout. So it's not possible to have that built-in thing anymore, that built-in throne, with the little table thingy, the little box. So this was just a last-minute emergency thing I wanted to put together, because when they adjusted the store hours to no longer being 24 hours, and I suspect gas stations may be like that, my option to go to the bathroom just went away. So you have to make your own. It sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. Let's continue here. Akita says, if you need to seal in the smell, wrap a piece of aluminum foil around the poop bag and leave it in the bucket until it's time to throw it away. It works. So aluminum foil to seal the smell. What I do normally, like when I use a unit like that, like this one of these units, I tie the bag up like really tight. Then I actually tie another bag on top of that, like 2 or 3 bags. And what I did when I did that, I didn't really smell it. But see, here's the problem with smell. You don't smell it, but anyone else coming into your van or walking by, they will smell it. One of the problems with living in a confined space, especially like as a van dweller, if you don't shower and stuff, you don't notice you stink. You don't notice your van has a funky smell. Okay. Now my van, I usually air out every day, and I open the doors, let the wind blow through. So as far as I know, it doesn't smell too bad. I haven't had my kids haven't complained about any smell in here, and my wife hasn't smelled, doesn't complain about the smell. So I'm assuming my van has the same stinky van smell, not an abnormally stinky smell. But if you're living in your van, your nose gets used to that smell, and you don't know that your van actually stinks and that you stink. So Just something to keep in mind. You can kind of control that situation by airing out your van every day. Open all the doors and windows, let it air out, okay? It'll be fresh. And you yourself should try to shower if you can. I know I see sometimes some van dwellers say, I don't shower. I just wipe myself down with these sanitary wipes. And I smell great. I'm like, you smell great to you. And they might work in a pinch if you don't have access to a shower, but as soon as you get in a shower, I recommend you get in a shower. Don't count on those wipes making you smell nice, because really, I think you still stink. I didn't smell them personally, but I'm like, I think the real way to clean yourself, I mean, if you had no water and you had to use the wipes, it's better than nothing. It's better than not wiping, not cleaning yourself at all. But if you're like me in Florida and stuff, and you have access to the beach showers, even if you didn't have Planet Fitness and stuff, go take a shower. Wash off the stink. Larry hopes I'm feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better. Not really having the issues. Still having the occasional cough, but I think it's the pollen. I think that's all it was. Pollen, and I don't know if I had anything. But see, normally when you get sick, you have a temperature rise. My temperature has never gotten above, I think the highest it went up to was 99.1. But they say that the average adult, your range of temperature is between 85 to 99. That's normal. It varies throughout the day. So because of me having the issue with the coughing and stuff, I've been measuring or taking my temperature like every day and before I go to work and stuff, or if I feel funny. And so far, I haven't had anything abnormal. So doing that just to play it safe, and if it went high, definitely I would not be going into work, because your temperature will go high when your body's trying to fight something. See, Mo Bang says I self-check myself. The problem is Walmart and stuff here, the checkout line for self-checking was from the front of the store all the way around the entire store back towards the deli department and further. That's why I'm saying they purposely did this. They could have opened up all the other self-checkout registers that they've installed in that store, plus the whole other side with 10 to 15 self-checkouts. They closed them all. And they funneled everyone to that one checkout area. And then they had a couple cashiers who evidently didn't know how to work the registers. And they kept stopping and going off and talking and asking somebody for help. That's how it was at this particular Walmart I was at. I was like, this is horrendous. And it almost looks purposeful. Let's see. Just reading here, people don't like kitty litter smell. When I used it, I didn't really smell. I don't know if the kitty litter, I didn't really smell it too badly. But see, here's the thing. I never really used a toilet in the bathroom. I mean, in the van. It was done once as a test to make sure that it would actually work. But then I never really used it, because when I had that self-built toilet seat, you remember the throne, the self-built throne, the one that's on the video that everybody's watching in one of my more viral videos. I was actually living out at the in the compound in my van, but I had the hut. Remember, the hut was built, and next to the hut was a full-blown portalet, and that's what I used, was the portalet there. It had a full-blown. It's a portalet, except that I had put bags in there with the kitty litter and stuff, so it didn't smell too bad. It was a big place. It aired out. You open the door and let it air out, and each time I used it, I emptied it. I took it out with me and dumped it. So it never sat there. It never sat there with poopy in it. Just sorry, Nomad says shelters are shut down per Reddit. So even the shelters for the homeless. So what the heck are the homeless people doing right now? Pantries also shut off. Gail says she's in a van now, not an RV. She's in the van life club. Well, Gail, I hope you're staying safe. I hope that you're figuring things out and it's working out better for you. You sound happy, and I think that's half the battle, more than half the battle. So, to me, if you can park your RV somewhere, that's a better deal than a van. But a van, like I said, is a lot more mobile, especially right now if you're trying to be stealth. But it's kind of even harder now because 24-hour places are disappearing. I don't see any place 24 hours anymore. So my lights just went off again. That's weird. I had it turned on and it shut off on its own. That is truly weird. So the light shut itself off, which was crazy. Little to no donation because all the bread, etc., being bought up. Let me look here. They're thinking of somebody saying they're going to try to enforce a 2-week quarantine in America. Truly, if this virus is real, okay, they have to stop the movement for more than 2 weeks. If an incubation, they're saying incubation of 2 weeks, I would say you probably need to quarantine for at least a month to be sure. Somebody's honking. I don't know if it's workers coming in. We're talking about Costco. Looks like one of our admins had to whack somebody upside the head. Timothy thinks they're waiting for disobedience and then they're going to enforce martial law. See, military trucks are already going out. All these things that you had been seeing them practice are put into effect now, which makes me wonder if truly this is a staged event. Because you got a virus that nobody can really see, that has the same symptoms as normal cold and flu symptoms. And the world has panicked. Layla is saying you can hook up a laptop and stream Netflix or HBO. And the game system, for your man in the game system with that converter. Yeah, I could basically, and then I got 2 batteries. I can actually stay up, and my schedule normally, just so you know what's going on, because I'm working all these different jobs, I really don't have that much free time now. I work, basically I'm working about upwards of 60 to 70 hours a week, just so you know. That's why the broadcasts tend to be live right now again, even though I still have some pre-recorded that have not run. I've been doing live broadcasts because I don't have time to upload. And before I was uploading while I was walking around Walmart, that's not possible anymore. And I don't want to be in Walmart. So uploading is happening live because there's no upload time. You might see that happening with some other van dwellers. You can kind of tell who's the real van dwellers because they'll start to shift to live streaming. And the reason they're having to shift to live streaming is because uploading is now a problem. You can't just go sit at Starbucks all day. You can't just walk around Walmart and upload. You can't even go to the library. I'm sure libraries are closed. So Wi-Fi access has become an issue. Not just for me, but for others as well. Scrolling through here. I'm just scrolling here. Looks like everybody's getting ready to sign out. I am going to go ahead and sign out here soon. An old lady's giving me really good advice. Just leave all the lights off in the van when you visit the facility. I saw this video that ran on YouTube. I think it was on YouTube or Facebook, where they had a mayor of a town, and they had a town hall meeting, and he didn't realize that his microphone was still on, and he had an emergency, and he had to rush himself to the bathroom. And so they continued to have the meeting while he was at the bathroom, and all you heard was farting sounds, like really bad farting sounds, not just 1 or 2, but like a whole bunch. And it was almost like singing. And then he didn't realize all this, and the people were trying to talk, and his fart was like going over the lady's voice that was trying to talk, and she's trying not to crack up. And then probably about 5 minutes later or whatever, I guess he wasn't able to go. He just had like a bunch of gas. So he comes back in, and she's trying not to laugh. And he sits down next to her, And everyone in the audience, in the town hall that was watching the whole thing was kind of cracking up a little bit, giggling and stuff. And then they cut out when one of the guys next to him leans over to talk to him. But I think the guy probably told him, you just broadcast everything. That would be so embarrassing. Anyhow, I am going to go ahead and sign out. See, the man says the Walmart has the $11 Walmart toilet seat with the lid that fits perfectly on top of those tubs. So if you don't want to build anything and you want to just go with the little lid tub thingies, $11 at Walmart in the camping section, I think. Me, I like putting together projects. Part of it is just because, people know about the lidded ones. I think most people do. And they just like to see something different. So that's why I want to do the little console here and stuff, just make it look a little different. And part of it is just because it's something to do. And I think in some ways a little bit cheaper and a little bit more comfortable. Scrolling here. I'm just scrolling through everybody's. Okay, it looks like everybody's signing out. I am going to go ahead and sign out. I do appreciate all of you tuning in. Gail, I hope you're figuring things out in your van, figuring out how to get things working. But I'm pretty sure you have a lot of experience, from watching the videos and also from living in your RV. It's just scaled down essentially, and a little bit simpler systems than an RV. So I want to let you all know that I'm thinking of each and every one of you. I appreciate all the kind thoughts and prayers. I appreciate all of you who were praying for me. I'm praying that I really don't have, corona and didn't have corona. I don't think I did because I never had the fever. I never had all of these symptoms, and the fact is I feel fine. So, but see, what's crazy about this whole thing is they say you could be a carrier and not have any of the symptoms. That's why it makes me think that they're making the whole damn thing up. Anybody could have it, and they might not even know it and be spreading it. That's what's crazy about it. So, if that's the case, the quarantine has to occur, because that's the only way you can stop it is everybody stops moving. Everybody just stay in their place. You know what I'm saying? And, I've been trying to limit myself mostly to just going into work where I have to be at work and getting supplies. And then when I'm by myself, I try to either stay in my vehicle, when I'm around other people, or I try to go to remote parks or whatever out in the middle of nowhere by myself or the woods or something. That's what I try to do. Try not to have contact with other people. Anyhow, stay safe, everyone. God bless you all. And in emergency, if you didn't even have a toilet seat and all this stuff, okay, get a couple bags. And if you can get trash bags and stuff that, like people were saying from Dollar Tree, they tend to be a lot more waterproof, a lot more leak proof than the Walmart shopping bags. Get a couple of those and a paint bucket or something. Even if you can't get a paint bucket, get a pail, from Dollar Tree or Walmart. Just letting you know for emergency. You don't need the fancy seat. You don't need all that. You just need something so you don't make a mess in your van. Because, when shift hits the van, you might have to shit in your van. No, wait. I got that wrong. When shift hits the van, yeah, you're going to have to do it in your van. Anyhow, I'm out of here. Take care, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye now.